So Donald Trump just threatened Canada with more tariffs. Why? Because Ontario ran a TV ad during the World Series. An ad. A 30-second commercial. He literally terminated trade talks and said, "I'm adding 10% more tariffs because you hurt my feelings with your advertisement." And the entire internet is like, this is the most petty reason to start a trade war. And I'm sitting here, a history nerd, absolutely cackling. Because let me tell you something, this isn't even in the top 10 of petty reasons countries have gone to war. History is full of wars that started over the dumbest, most ridiculous, absolutely unhinged reasons. We're talking about a war that lasted 7 years because someone cut off a guy's ear. A war over a dead pig. A war where a country lost to birds. So buckle up, because today we're diving into history's pettiest conflicts, and I promise you, by the end of this video, Trump's tariff tantrum will seem almost reasonable. All right, context time. Trump has been threatening Canada with tariffs for weeks, standard stuff. But then Ontario, that's a Canadian province for those playing along at home, ran an ad during the World Series. The ad featured a clip of Ronald Reagan talking about how great free trade is between the US and Canada. That's it. No insults, no name-calling, just Reagan's own words about trade. Trump saw this ad and lost it, terminated trade talks, announced he's adding more tariffs, called it inappropriate. My guy, it's Ronald Reagan. You guys love Reagan. Now, to be fair, starting trade disputes over perceived disrespect is not new. Countries have been doing this forever, but usually there's at least some attempt to pretend it's about something important. Trump just straight up said, "You ran an ad I didn't like, so I'm economically punishing your entire country," which is bold, honest, but bold. But you know what? History has seen much pettier. Let me introduce you to the War of Jenkins' Ear. In 1731, a British sailor named Robert Jenkins was smuggling stuff near Jamaica. A Spanish Coast Guard captain caught him and, as punishment, cut off his ear. Now, Jenkins went back to Britain and people were like, "Oh, that sucks, sorry about your ear." And that was it for 7 years. Everyone moved on. Jenkins presumably got a nice hat to cover the situation. But then, in 1738, Britain was looking for an excuse to fight Spain over trade routes. So they brought Jenkins to Parliament and said, "Hey, remember when Spain cut off your ears 7 years ago? How mad are you about that?" Jenkins literally pulled out his preserved ear, yes, he kept it, showed it to Parliament and said, "I am very mad about this." And Britain declared war on Spain. They called it the War of Jenkins' Ear. Not the trade route war, not the colonial dispute war, Jenkins' Ear. They named an entire international conflict after one guy's severed body part. This war lasted 7 years. Thousands of people died. Ships were destroyed. Entire naval battles happened. All because Britain needed an excuse to fight Spain and remembered, oh yeah, that ear thing from 1731. And here's the best part. Historians aren't even sure Jenkins' ear was actually cut off by Spain. Some think he made it up or lost it in a different incident. This man possibly started a 7-year war with a lie and a random ear. So when Trump terminates trade talks over a TV ad, at least nobody's waving around severed body parts in Congress. Yet. But wait, we're just getting started. Let me tell you about the time the United States and Britain almost went to war over a pig. It's 1859. There's an island between the US and Canada called San Juan Island, and both countries claim they own it. Tensions are high, and then an American farmer finds a British pig eating his potatoes. So he shoots the pig. Boom, dead pig, problem solved, right? Wrong. The British pig owner demands compensation. The American farmer says, "Your pig was on my property eating my potatoes." The British guy says, "Yeah, but you didn't have to murder him." This escalates so fast. The Americans send soldiers to the island. The British send warships. More soldiers arrive. More warships. At one point, there were 461 American soldiers facing down 5 British warships with 2,140 men, all over a dead pig. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. The admiral showed up and was like, "I am not starting a war over a pig." The American general agreed. They did a joint military occupation of the island for 12 years while they figured out who owned it. 12 years of American and British soldiers awkwardly sharing an island, all because a farmer got trigger happy about his potatoes. The only casualty of the pig war? One pig. So Trump threatening tariffs over an ad? At least no livestock died. Okay, but surely modern countries don't do stuff this petty anymore, right? Oh, you summer child. Let me tell you about the time the United States and Britain, declared war on birds and lost. It's 1932, Western Australia. There's an emu problem. Emus are big, dumb birds that kind of look like ostriches had a rough day. And there's like 20,000 of them destroying farmers' crops. So the Australian government looks at this situation and makes a decision. They call in the military. Not pest control, not wildlife management, the actual army with machine guns. They sent soldiers with Lewis guns, these are World War I weapons, to fight emus. The government literally declared war on birds. And you think, humans with machine guns versus flightless birds, easy victory, right? Wrong. The emus won. Turns out, emus are fast. They scatter when you shoot at them. They're harder to hit than you'd think. The soldiers used like 10,000 rounds of ammunition and only killed about 1,000 emus. That's 10 bullets per bird. After a month, the military gave up. They literally retreated from the emus. The Australian government had to go back and be like, so we lost to the birds. We're going to need a different strategy. The media had a field day. One newspaper wrote, "The emus have won. They've adopted guerrilla tactics and used their speed and cunning to outmaneuver our forces." Guerrilla tactics from emus. So when Trump has beef with Canada over an ad, at least his opponent has thumbs and can fight back. Australia picked a fight with birds and lost. But my personal favorite petty war, the football war. Yes, that's the real name. Two countries went to war because of soccer. It's 1969. El Salvador and Honduras are playing World Cup qualifying matches. There's already some tension because of immigration and land disputes, but nothing crazy. Honduras wins the first game. El Salvador fans are mad. Some Honduran fans celebrate a little too hard, and an El Salvador fan dies. El Salvador wins the second game. Now Honduran fans are mad, and there's riots. Then comes the third game. El Salvador wins, and both countries decide, you know what? Let's turn this into an actual war. I'm not exaggerating. Within weeks, El Salvador invaded Honduras. Bombers, tanks, infantry, the whole deal. They fought for 4 days. Over 3,000 people died. And yes, there were legitimate political and economic issues involved, but the spark that lit this powder keg was soccer. The official reason for the invasion cited the climate of hatred from the games. Imagine explaining to your family, yeah, I'm going to war because our team won at soccer and they got mad about it. That's a real thing that happened in 1969. The Organization of American States had to step in and broker a ceasefire. The UN got involved. International sanctions happened, all because two countries couldn't handle a sports rivalry like adults. So Trump getting mad about a TV ad and threatening economic sanctions? Still petty, but at least nobody's launching airstrikes over Reagan speeches. And finally, we need to talk about the War of the Bucket. Because if you thought the other wars were petty, this one is next level. It's 1325, Italy. The cities of Bologna and Modena are rivals. One night, some soldiers from Modena sneak into Bologna and steal a bucket, a wooden bucket from a well. Bologna demands the bucket back. Modena says, no, it's our bucket now, and Bologna declares war. This war lasted 12 years. Thousands of people died. Entire battles were fought. Cities were sieged, all because Modena stole a bucket and refused to give it back. And you know what the craziest part is? The bucket wasn't even valuable. It was just a regular wooden bucket. Modena kept it purely out of spite. The bucket still exists. You can go see it in Modena today. It's in a museum. They're so proud of this bucket that caused a 12-year war that they put it on display. Imagine being a soldier in that war. Why are we fighting? Bucket! What? We're fighting over a bucket. Is it a magic bucket? No, just a regular bucket. I hate it here. So let's review. Trump threatened Canada with tariffs over a TV ad. And yeah, that's petty, but let's compare. Britain fought Spain for 7 years over an ear that may not have even been real. The US and Britain almost went to war over a farmer shooting a pig. Australia declared war on emus and lost. El Salvador and Honduras went to actual war over soccer. And Bologna and Modena fought for 12 years over a bucket. Human beings have been finding the dumbest reasons to fight each other for literally thousands of years. We are incredibly creative at being petty. At least with the tariff situation, there's some vague economic logic involved. Trump's not waving around a severed ear. Canada's not invading over it. Nobody's lost to birds, and no buckets have been stolen. So is this trade war over a TV ad ridiculous? Absolutely. Is it the most ridiculous reason countries have fought? Not even close. If anything, we've gotten less petty over time. We're down from 12-year war over a bucket to trade dispute over an advertisement. That's progress, people. I'm your host from Historic LOLs, reminding you that humans have always been this petty. We've just gotten better at not turning it into actual warfare. Most of the time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's pettiest conflicts, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me what current petty drama you want me to historically roast next.